Here's your help. This edition of Here's Your Help, we're talking about firefighter-specific training at Velocity Sports in Scottsdale. Take a look. Tell us about your facility and what you guys actually do here.
Velocity Sports Performance is a national network of sports training centers. We specialize in teaching, developing athletes proper movement skills. You know, our main population is between ages of 8 and high school age up to about 17. We work on teaching them the foundations of movement that are going to enable them to succeed at a higher level.
All different types of sports?
All different types of sports, everything from football and competitive baseball players and softball and volleyball athletes, all the way through kids just looking for a little bit more fitness training in their exercise regimens.
Excellent. And adult programs also?
Absolutely. Yeah, our adult fitness program was one of our more popular programs. We have a lot of adults that are just interested in changing up their workouts, getting out of the typical gym routine.
Speaking about workouts, there's been a big popularity increase in this cross-training type of workouts where guys are flipping tires and throwing things and all sorts of whatever you can put in a workout. What do you think about that type of workout?
Those workouts become very popular because they're different. And anytime you can interject variety into a workout, people really like it. Most people typically have gone to a commercial gym. They've been on the Nautilus circuits, or they've done their bench press and bicep curl workouts for years. So when something new comes out where you're still getting a great workout, you get this big pump, and you're doing a lot of different exercises, it gets very popular. And they are hard workouts, and a lot of people are looking to really push themselves.
Right.
One problem with any type of workout like that is we want to address the complete athlete or the complete fitness regimen. And that's something you'll find with our program is we really look at how does fitness develop as a whole. And we're going to hit all major components, everything from flexibility and balance training and agility training to muscle strength and power, as well as conditioning.
And that's exactly why we're talking about this subject, because we have a lot of fire stations that have their own circuit routines out in the parking lot or in the bay, and we want to make sure that A, the exercises are applicable, and B, they're safe. They're not going to injure themselves. So you have actually developed a firefighter-specific workout that you can show us and maybe have our guys at the station mimic it with some of the things they have.
Correct, yeah, and that's what we're going to go through, some drills, and there are a ton of drills you can make that are going to mimic different situations, and using your imagination is important because that's really what's going to make the workout fun. Again, getting out of the rut of doing the same thing over and over again is important, and that's what makes people want to work out more.
Absolutely.
For us, the most important thing is making it fun, but also hitting on all the key elements that are going to make that program productive and really kind of help people increase their length of their careers.
Absolutely. Well, let's see what you have for us.
We begin each workout with just some simple exercises to kind of get the blood flowing, general warm-up stuff. Try to make it a little bit more fun and different than just kind of jogging for 5 minutes or riding a bike for a few minutes. So we add some jumping jack exercises in. We'll change arm and leg positions around to throw in some coordination drills.
So this is a dynamic warm-up.
This is a dynamic warm-up.
Now, how do you feel about stretching before the actual workout, static stretching?
Well, as more and more evidence comes out, there's a good deal of evidence that static stretching prior to exercise actually is more detrimental to performance than it helps. Muscle as a whole is not something that you stretch. It's just a kind of a gelatinous tissue that you warm up. And when you stretch, you're stretching connective tissue. And if anybody who's ever towed a car, if you put a lot of slack in a line and then try to tow it, that rope tends to rip.
Good visual.
It's the same thing here with connective tissue. If you loosen it up a lot and then go into strenuous exercise, it has a tendency to pull and strain. So, by going through a warm-up drill like this and incorporating some of these exercises that just kind of get the body up to temperature, and then doing some light stretching movements, and as they go through, they'll do a little bit more aggressive stretching exercises through motion. You're getting that full range of motion, plus you're getting the body up to temperature and ready to go.
Yeah, and that's what we're preaching. We have a lot of our stations playing basketball, and we're preaching it'd be better to do a warm-up than stretching. And if it just means running around the basketball court 2 or 3, 4 times, that's better than stretching.
Correct. Yeah, doing that, even if you just do a couple alternates to jogging. Add in some lunges, add in some bear crawls, some straight leg kicks as you're moving around. All those things are going to just loosen you up and get you prepared.
So this warm-up here is an actual exercise. They haven't even started the actual training.
Just the warm-up.
The warm-up, yeah.
Yeah, our warm-up portion of our workouts usually takes somewhere between about 20 and 25 minutes. So we spend a good deal of time working on it. As I said, that's balance, flexibility, coordination are a key element to developing, any athlete and any person as a healthy individual. So we put a lot of importance into that.
And I think that's a piece of information that isn't known and followed by the general public, is that you said you spend up to 20 minutes just warming up prior to even starting any of your workouts.
Right.
And most of us, that's maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and we're good to go. We're in there.
We're ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's part of what, when I talk about a comprehensive workout. And for a lot of people, the amount of imbalance and issues and flexibility and other drills that you'll see as you go along, and you can see Eric's kind of tripping around as we go through, and he does these on a daily basis. There is a lot of benefit to doing this type of exercise. Once you've created a muscle imbalance, and you probably are if you're doing just a workout on your own. You're not balancing out your front to back side, or your quadriceps to your hamstrings, or your abs to your lower back. Once you've created those imbalances, it's an injury waiting to happen, and especially when you're doing a physically demanding job where you are going to be asked to put those muscles in action. You're going to have an injury. It's going to happen.
So now that these guys are warmed up, we're going to go to the first of 9 exercises that you have in the form of a circuit.
Correct.
And these that you've actually put together are specific to some of the tasks that you would see us doing on the fire ground.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. We kind of made this a little more specific to the physical tests that you would see. But as I said, we'll incorporate these exercises, but we also change things around quite a bit.
Sure.
Just to make it different. We don't want the same workout over and over again.
Sure.
So we're trying to give everybody some ideas about things they can incorporate.
So Joe, this is going to be the first exercise in 9 that you put together for us to simulate things that we might be encountering on the fire ground.
Absolutely.
And obviously you got a hose and you're pulling. That goes without saying how that is applicable.
Kind of applies.
Right.
Yeah. And we create these exercises, to mimic a little bit about the tasks that we would see, a firefighter typically doing, things that are commonly performed on the testing grounds.
Sure.
But there's also some fun drills that we put together. We'll do these even with our adult, fitness clients. They love doing different exercises and drills and kind of seeing how it's applied to different professions. So it makes it an enjoyable experience for them.
Now I know this is one of the ones that they actually do at the academy, and a lot of our stations are doing this back in their bay or in the parking lot, because obviously we've got the hose and they just attach whatever they have to it, a tire or maybe even sled, things like that. So yeah, this is one that they actually do.
Right.
So
again, this is a task that
absolutely,
as you can see, is very specific, and makes it very easy for us to add it into a workout and easily produce with a lot of different implements.
Sure. Now Eric is second, and what is Eric going to be doing?
Eric's going to be doing an upper body exercise, a push-up stability drill.
Okay.
And what we're working on here is not only chest strength, but we're also kind of working on shoulder stability. As you're crossing over, obviously the ball is going to roll underneath you. You got to stabilize with your upper body, moving through, and then you're also getting the push-ups as you're going along.
Push-ups in as you can. As many push-ups in as you can, keeping that back nice and flat.
Getting core strength involved as we stabilize through the torso, working on the upper body as we're going through. So again, great as terms of injury prevention, as well as a good exercise for the upper body. And again, when we look at the whole program, we're looking at fitness.
Sure, absolutely.
So as we pace the class, and that's what allows us to kind of make this class different for everybody that's in there. We have our adult groups range in age from 19 years old and thinking about going back to college and playing sports to, we have 55, 56-year-old people in there. So we're able to kind of manipulate the intensity of the exercise by just kind of setting up and pacing a class a little bit differently.
And that's the key, is that not everyone has the same fitness level. And going back to the popularity of these exercises that are web-based, where they just put a workout of the day and expect everyone to just go 100 miles an hour at it, that doesn't take into consideration a person's fitness level, where here it does. You can cater it, you can back it down, you can increase the intensity, things like that.
We can manipulate the intensity, the resistances a little bit, the pace at which we go at, the time we do the circuits.
Sure.
And that's part of the reason too. We have a coach work with every class. This is not an open gym where people could just come in and train. It's a gym where we're going to have somebody that's a professional to kind of help you out.
Now, this is a pretty neat system. What is this?
This is called the Vertimax.
Okay. Now, obviously, we don't have these at the station. So, what can we supplement?
Well, this is more along the lines of a kind of a modified ceiling breach type exercise.
Right.
So we're working on driving with the legs, learning how to drive with the legs to push through the upper body and extend up.
Now,
so you could use some heavy duty rubber bands, which they sell at typical packing places.
Right.
Hook them up to a base at the bottom and push through those bands. You can kind of add in just about anything as you're going upper body. You could even use dumbbells and come from the squat and push up.
We do have the handled bands at the station, so they could probably step on those and actually go through there.
Right.
Now, this is I haven't seen this done before, but I can see where this would really help. What do you call this exercise?
Well, this is a low drag, so it's kind of a side step with a pull as we're going through. We went down. We kind of looked at some of the testing environment, in the firefighters, and one of the things that kind of stood out is probably not never necessarily standing up straight and pulling someone out of a smoky room or a building. It's usually kind of in a low position. You're probably just using one hand to crawl and the other hand to kind of feel. So we're just kind of trying to simulate that a little bit as we go along. Just a little difference in a dragging pulling exercise.
That is really applicable to some of the stuff that we're going to see in a fire. How one-handed pull, going to the side, trying to get hose and kink, things like that. So
you're working a little bit different area of your hips. With the drag, you're getting some of the hamstrings, a lot of the gluteal muscles. With that exercise now we're getting the hip abductors involved.
Absolutely.
So we're hitting a little different area. This is going to kind of simulate our steps. Now these are a little bit of a lower transition going up. This is only going to be about a 6-inch rise each step.
Okay.
But we add a resistance, kind of working on mimicking carrying up and down steps as we're going through. We could do this with a single box going up and down. You could do this with a staircase, in a tower pack. Kind of going through. So, this is something that really you could apply pretty easily with a lot of different implements.
Again, another great exercise that I've never seen done quite like this, but certainly very applicable to what we do on the job, especially when we have patients that we need to get up and down stairs or equipment or things of that nature. Now, I guess we'll have to be innovative in the boxes that we use, because obviously they have to be stable. Only about a 6-inch rise is what you're talking about here for safety's sake.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is, we're going to use a little bit of resistance, and, especially with a majority of the population we have in here, they're not used to doing like a high step with any kind of heavy weight.
No, I think that's great.
So we're just kind of setting up a little bit for everybody to succeed with. But, obviously as guys get a little bit better with it, you can increase that distance and
Sure.
increase the step height.
I can see guys building those boxes already, sticking them in the back of the stations. Okay, so Chase is actually doing looks like a sled pull, but just going backwards.
Right, and just kind of like a modified carry position. We're working the hamstrings, working the lower back, kind of just getting everything involved in the posterior chain.
Sure.
And again, just like a dummy pull or anything else, you could simulate that. Real easily pulling a punching bag or something at the stations.
Absolutely. Anything that's not going to get weathered, I guess, out
Right.
there. Tractor tires seem to be very popular right now.
Tires are easy. They hold up well and
Yeah.
don't damage too much of the surfaces.
Okay.
Now we're going to do a Romanian deadlift.
Oh.
And this is a typical weightlifting exercises that's used a lot to develop hamstring, lower back strength. Again, like I said, most people are dominated by doing everything that they could see in the mirror. They do the quadriceps, they'll do chest exercise and everything else. This exercise really kind of works that posterior portion. A great load on the hamstrings, working the glute muscles, as well as keeping the lower back in a solid position. So you're getting core involvement as well.
And that's the key, is to keep the lower back in a solid.
In a stabilized position, yeah.
And
keeps injuries down.
We keep hearing, don't lift with your back, don't lift with your back, don't lift with your back. But there's a fine line between strengthening your back and straining it. And obviously this is doing a little bit of both.
Right. Yeah. This
You have
exercise
to
is
strain it a little bit to strengthen it.
correct. And, you know, as long as it's not straining it if you're lifting in a proper position. And the proper position is by keeping the back flat and arched. You're using those muscles to stabilize the back the way it's meant to be stabilized.
Sure.
You know, and the harsh reality of it is you can't always use your legs to lift. You know, you're going to be in a position where you have to pull with your back a little bit.
And that's a key.
As long as you learn how to stabilize it and use it properly, you know, you're going to keep it safe.
Now this looks like a walking shoulder press.
This is what we call a Waterbury walk with a shoulder press.
Okay.
You know, and basically this allows a little bit of mobility, a little bit of stability. So you're kind of mimicking, you know, carrying an object, but then also pressing, getting some shoulder strength involvement, working on stability overhead.
So a couple of the key points here is just 2 steps and lift.
Yeah, 2 steps and lift. I mean, you could do this with a variety of exercises. You know, 2 steps and do a deadlift. 2 steps and do a squat. You could walk with the dumbbells, you know, continually pressed over your head and then bring them down every 2 steps. So you could add a lot of different things into it. But it just forces you to kind of move, and instead of just counting repetitions, you know, you're doing stuff for distance or for time. It just changes the workout a little bit.
Now all of our stations have kettlebells, and that would be something that we could implement the kettlebells with too.
Absolutely. Yeah, you could add, you know, as Chase is adding in now, you know, you could do this with, you know, even simple exercises like bicep curls.
Sure.
You know, with the kettlebells, it's terrific to really flip them up and hold them on end. You know, you're getting a great deal of wrist, forearm strength, shoulder stability exercise as you're walking and trying to balance the kettlebell, you know, overhead.
Sure. And the key is just doing not this just one exercise or one muscle group, but you're actually implementing the entire body as you do this.
Trying to get different things involved, you know, and you can make it fun.
Yeah. And get a great workout in a short amount of time.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, incorporate it as much as you can. You know, most people don't have 2 hours to sit in the gym. You know, if you can, you know, again, that's one of the popularities of all the newfangled workouts that are out there. Is that, you know, you're in and out in 20 to 30 minutes.
Absolutely.
You know, here, same idea. You know, we can give you a great workout, 9 exercises, go through them once or twice. You know, it's a 25, 30-minute workout. You add in 20 minutes of flexibility and stretch and core exercise, and you're looking at 45 minutes and you're out the door, and you've gotten a total body workout.
Absolutely. So this looks like he's getting strapped up here.
Our final exercise is kind of working on just changing position. A little bit of resistance. Again, we're using the Vertimax device here, but you know, you could do anything as far as, you know, putting on, you know, weighted vests or you know, holding an object in your hands. You know, to add some resistance, you could hold you know, we've done this with a punching bag where you start on the ground and then work to a standing position. And we're just working on changing positions. Working on getting the leg strength coming out of a lower position and driving through.
Sure.
You know, again, mimicking a squat type movement, except just a different way.
Sure. And again, I think that the piece of equipment that we would have most readily available to mimic this would be like a weighted vest.
Right.
Or maybe even have some sort of hose around maybe a high-rise pack or even SCBA and do this.
Right.
You just have an SCBA without any other turnouts and do this. And the key, I guess, to this is you have added weight besides your body weight, and you're getting a routine or an exercise that actually mimics what we'd be doing on, you know.
Change of position. You know, then alternatives, I mean, you could put the weighted vest on and again, use the boxes, work on going, you know, over the boxes and then back down to the ground. You know, you could work on crawling around or bear crawling around a given pattern and then going, you know, over hurdles or something else that you might have. So just to get that over-under type approach.
So that's the 9th exercise?
That's it.
We need to give you guys a breather. That's a tough exercise, but certainly
workout for them.
Certainly applicable to, again, what we do on the fire ground. How about frequency? What, you know, given these 9 exercises, let's say that someone was to do this, how frequent, how many times a week would you recommend doing this?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Again, we get in the mentality of more is always better. You know, as you get older, you don't need as much frequency of exercise to maintain your fitness or even make improvements. And actually, rest is good for the body.
Absolutely.
You know, when you're doing a total body workout like this, you know, we're hoping to get, you know, 2 to 3 workouts in a week. If we can get, you know, that kind of an average, you're going to see a significant gain in your strength. You're going to see a great gain in your fitness, and you're going to be able to recover and be able to do it, you know, over and over again and still do your job and still be able to go through everything else.
And that's the key, is to learn how to read your body. If your body says, I am absolutely sore, you know, and it's been 2 days, take another day off and do it, you know, that 4th day.
Yeah, it's
read your body.
Yeah. And evidence out there is that it takes at least 6 weeks to detrain from a strength training type workout, where you're going to see a noticeable loss in strength. So if you need 2 or 3 days off, that's a good thing. And again, as we get older, testosterone levels are dropping, other things are dropping. You don't have that ability to recover like you did when you're 15, 16, or 20 and 21.
Sure.
So you need to plan accordingly. And if you do plan accordingly, you will actually get better benefits out of the workout.
Work smarter, not harder.
Correct.
Thanks, Joe, for having us at your facility.
Thank you very much, guys.
If you have any information or questions, I should say, regarding this workout, contact me at the health center. I'll get you in touch with Joe at Velocity Sports. Thanks again, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Here's your help.